All right, guys, page 21, lesson 3, reasoning about context with tape diagrams, part 2. Let's see how equations can describe tape diagrams. So the I can statements, I can match equations and tape diagrams that represent the same situation. And if I have an equation, I can draw a tape diagram that shows the same relationship. So select all the expressions that are equivalent to 7 times the quantity of 2 minus 3n. Whenever I have parentheses, that just means quantity. That's a fancy way of saying parentheses. All right, so we are going to, so if I go 7, 2, 3, n. Okay, so if I have a number right next to the parentheses, that means multiply. Okay, so I can automatically see this right here is the same. Okay. Now, we should know the distributive property, so we take what's on the outside and multiply it by everything on the inside. So, 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21n. Okay? Let me rewrite that because it looks like a 2n. Okay? 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, and then you just put the n at the end. So we have 14 minus 21n. Well, there's that one right there. Let's see, 9 minus 10n. No, you can just add or subtract. That one's out. 14 minus 3n. Well, they did the 7 times 2. They forgot to do the 7 times 3. We got 3, we got 4. 7 times 2 times 3. No, you just can't multiply them all together. So 3 and 4. All right? So if we turn the page to 22, matching the equations to the tape diagrams. So we have these 5 equations, and we have all of these equations below it. Okay, so we'll see if we can figure these out. So, letter A. We have 2x's plus 5 more equals the whole thing 19. 2x plus 5 equals 19. Well, that's A. All right, letter B. Letter B looks a lot like letter A, except for they just flip-flop where the x's and the 5's are. So it's still the same thing. We still have 2x's plus 5 equals 19. So B works for this one as well. Letter C, we start with a 2. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. So 2 plus 5x equals 19. Oh, look, next one down. 2 plus 5x equals 19. All right, letter D. We have 2 groups. So the way we do this is we put parentheses. So 2 groups of parentheses x plus 5 equals 19. Oh, 2 times x plus 5 equals 19. So D works there. And then E, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. So 5 parentheses x plus 2 equals 19. And there's E right there. Okay? The ones below it are the same equations. They've just sort of flipped all the orders around. And so we're not going to really talk about that, but we match some of them up. So let's move on to 3.3 where we're going to solve these. So it says draw a tape diagram to match the equation. And then number 2 says solve the equation any way you can. So instead of drawing the tape diagram, we're just going to solve it. Okay? So 114 equals 3x plus 18. So remember from yesterday, our whole goal is to get the x by itself. So we only care about the things that are on the same side of the equal sign as the x. Okay? So if we underline everything with the x, we have 3 x's, right? So we get rid of the number that is not with the x. Well, the 3 is right next to the x. The 18 is not. So we're going to get rid of the 18 first. It's a plus 18, so to get rid of it, we minus it. We do the opposite. So we subtract 18. The fancy word is we do the inverse. So 114 minus 18 is 96 equals, we didn't do anything with the 3x. Okay. Now we want to get rid of that 3. So 3x means 3 times x, so we do the inverse or the opposite of times, and that's divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. So 96 divided by 3 is 32 equals x. Or if you want to flip it around, x equals 32. They mean the same thing. Okay? Moving on to the next one. 114 equals 3 times y plus 18. Okay? There's two different ways to do this. We could do the distributive property to get rid of it, or we can divide first. Because there are parentheses, we can divide first. So this right here, when the 3 is on the outside of the parentheses, that means multiply. So to get rid of multiply, we're going to divide both sides by 3. So 100, using my calculator, 114 divided by 3. Let me pull it up real fast. 114 divided by 3 is 38. So we have 38 equals y plus 18. We just write down what we didn't use inside the parentheses. Okay? So now we need to get rid of the plus 18. So here's the y. So we first get rid of the plus 18 by minusing 18 because we do the opposite or the inverse. So 38 minus 18 is 20. So y equals 20. Okay, so there you have it. And that is it. So let's look at the summary real fast. We have seen how tape diagrams represent relationships between quantities. Because of the meaning and properties of addition and multiplication, more than one equation can often be used to represent a single tape diagram. Let's take a look at two tape diagrams. We can describe this diagram with several different equations. Here are some of them. 26 plus 4x equals 46 because the parts add up to the whole. Or you can flip the order, 4x plus 26 because addition is commutative. Or you can flip the whole thing around, 46 equals 4x plus 26 because if they're equal, it doesn't matter which one comes first. Or we can go 4x equals 46 minus 26 because one part, the part made up with 4 x's, is the difference between the whole part and the other part. Okay? Or it's the first step in solving the equation. Then the second diagram, 76 equals x plus 9 plus x plus 9 plus x plus 9 plus x plus 9. So we have 4 groups of x plus 9 equals 76. Okay? We can move the 4 on the other side because multiplication is commutative, or we can divide both sides by 4 because division tells us the size of each equal part. Okay, so on your assignment today, it is number 1. We're just going to solve the equation. You're going to tell me what the value of x is on both of those. And then we're also going to do number 3 in your book, which will be number 2 on Canvas. You just tell me the value of x there too. Okay? Remember, you can always send me an email if you have questions.